Okay, so welcome to step one, the create concept notes. So at this point, you are ready to develop a concept note or you have already developed one. Now, step one is to uh, provide a business case for the proposed project or program or to give initial idea of an intervention with a view to engaging colleagues to support the development of the project or program. Before you proceed, the first question you need to obtain an answer to is that does my project fall into the exempted projects or program categories? If your answer is yes, that means you should not be here. You need to start from step three. But if your answer is no, if your project doesn't fall in any of these seven categories on the screen, that means you're in the right place. You need to start from step one, and then you need to create a concept note. Now, there are seven categories of project that should start from step three, and these are UN joint programs, previously approved existing projects that have expanded scope. The expansion could be either substantive in terms of the output, the deliverables, or it could be financial. So the budget from 1 million got to 5 million. And so you can start from step three. Another is a chart project of a previously approved program. For example, you had approved, a program had gone through a PhD process and had been approved as a program. And so now the project to implement the program would not need to start from concept note. They just need to go to start from step three, presenting a full project document at that point. Also, projects funded from corporate program cooperation agreements, the likes of CEDA and Norway, would need to start from step three. And projects funded from the core funding, for corporate objectives such as program support, like the pass upgrade, those ones would also need to start from step three. And lastly, emergency projects and low value projects. Where you're not sure if your project is an emergency project, because at this point it's only humanitarian that has been exempted, please do ask the program division director. The low value are projects up to $200,000. So all these seven categories of projects are exempted from step one, and so should go to step three to start. Now, in terms of responsibility and accountability, the project manager is the main person in step one. He or she is both responsible and accountable for the step. The project manager develops a concept note. He or she consults relevant colleagues. He or she informs the director of program division and then send the concept note for review to all relevant thematic experts, the PAG members, and the PMO. The email group for these people will be created, but at some point it will be done through pass, and so it will be done through just a click. The project manager also is required to invite to discussions and meetings the PCO program development team. Now, it is not the project cycle management team, but the program development team. You'll see the role of that person shortly. Now, in terms of accountability, for step one, again, like I said, it's the project manager. So the project manager needs to ensure that the concept note is aligned and contributes to UN Habitat mandate, and also it's supports the delivery or the achievement of the strategic result of UN Habitat. And it's also quite linked to, not quite, it is linked to the current work program and the priorities of the current work program. Also, the project manager needs to demonstrate how the normative work, if the project is a normative project, so how that normative project will feed back into operational work. And if the project is an operational project, the project manager is required to demonstrate how the operational work would feed back into the normative work. So we need to see the 360 link between normative and operation, and that is the responsibility of a project manager. And this should be reflected right from the concept note. Also, quite important is that the integration of lessons learned from related projects or programs from the past, and also it could also be from external cutting edge knowledge. The integration of these lessons is the responsibility of the project manager. And again, this integration needs to be from the concept note. Now, it's not having a section by itself and cutting and pasting lesson from another project. This is integrating it, mainstreaming it to justify the approach, to justify the purpose and the strategy. It needs to be clear what lesson has been taken into consideration to arrive at such positions.
The system used for the concept note is currently, it's an offline process. It's a Word document that we are proposing to use, which is available on HabNet. We are also advising that the donor template could also be used if available. In the future, we are looking at developing this functionality in the PAS, and that will be developed in the future, and we will communicate that at a later stage. As mentioned, the template is available on HabNet. We will take you through that towards the end of the presentation. And your output at this stage will be a completed concept note. In step 1, we are advising that the following parallel processes can be undertaken. We are advising that the negotiation and discussion with your potential donor, market intelligence and research can be started at this stage, or it may have already started. With regards to the finance and the budget side, we are advising that you involve the project PMO, your Program Management Officer, for information sharing and facilitation of the administrative processes downstream. The downstream impact of this step is that your concept note will develop based on feedback into an abridged project document or full project document.